Jack was a young man living in a small town. He had always been taught that success meant achieving big results, winning competitions, getting top grades, or earning a lot of money. His parents always told him, results matter the most. Jack believed them, so he focused only on reaching his goals as fast as possible. One day, Jack heard about a famous businessman named Mr. Henry, who had started from nothing and built a successful company. Everyone in town admired him. Jack thought, if I learn from him, I will achieve success quickly. Determined, Jack wrote a letter to Mr. Henry, asking for guidance. To his surprise, Mr. Henry invited him to visit his office. Excited, Jack put on his best clothes and went to meet the great businessman. When Jack arrived, he saw Mr. Henry sitting in a simple office. He was an old man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Jack sat down nervously. "Sir, I want to be successful like you," Jack said. "Please tell me how I can get quick results." Mr. Henry smiled. "Tell me, Jack, what do you think success means?" "Achieving goals, winning competitions, making money," Jack replied confidently. Mr. Henry nodded. "That is one way to see it. But let me tell you a story. The story of the farmer. There was once a young farmer named Tom. He wanted to have the biggest and most beautiful farm in the country. He worked day and night, always looking for ways to grow more crops faster. One day, Tom met an old farmer named Mr. George. Mr. George had a small farm, but his crops were always healthy and his animals were strong. Tom asked him, "How do you get such great results?" Mr. George smiled and said, "I focus on the process, not the results." "But isn't the result the most important thing?" Tom asked. Mr. George shook his head. "If you only focus on results, you will get impatient. You will look for shortcuts. You will rush. But if you focus on the process, taking care of the soil, watering the plants properly, feeding the animals well, then good results will come naturally." Tom thought about it and decided to try. Instead of worrying about how much he could produce in one season, he focused on farming the right way. He learned to understand the soil, the weather, and the needs of his crops and animals. After a few years, Tom's farm became one of the best in the country. He realized that success was not about quick results, it was about doing things the right way, step by step. Jack's lesson. Jack listened carefully to Mr. Henry's story. "So you're saying I should stop focusing only on results?" "Yes," Mr. Henry said. "Of course, having goals is important. But if you only think about results, you will miss out on learning and improving. Success is not about rushing, it is about growing every day." Jack was confused. "But what if I fail?" "Failure is part of learning," Mr. Henry said. "If you try to avoid failure at all costs, you will never take risks, never improve. Instead of fearing failure, embrace it as a teacher." Jack nodded slowly. He had always been afraid of failure. He only wanted to win, to be the best. But now he understood that the journey mattered more than the destination. Jack's new journey. Jack decided to apply this lesson in his life. Instead of focusing only on getting the best grades, he focused on enjoying the learning process. Instead of worrying about winning races, he focused on training and improving his skills. At first, it was difficult. He felt impatient. He wanted to see quick results. But he reminded himself of Mr. Henry's words, "Focus on the process, and results will follow." Months passed. Jack became better at studying, better at sports, and even better at making friends. He was no longer stressed about winning or losing. He simply enjoyed improving every day. 1 year later, Jack went to visit Mr. Henry again. "Sir, you were right," he said with a smile. "I stopped focusing only on results, and now I feel happier and more successful than ever." Mr. Henry smiled. "I'm glad you learned the secret. Now, share this lesson with others. Jack did just that. He taught his friends, his family, and even younger students about the importance of focusing on the journey rather than just the results. And so, Jack's life changed forever. He became successful, not because he chased results, but because he embraced the process. And in the end, he achieved more than he ever imagined.